Hey, what's going on everyone? It's me, Jamerson. Welcome back to another video. We got another one where we're reviewing the recent chapter of chapter 267 of Jujutsu Kaisen. The first out of the 5 chapters that's left remaining in Jujutsu Kaisen. It's been hell of a ride, but I'm going to ride it out because Jujutsu Kaisen is one of my favorites series ever. It's like Jujutsu Kaisen is on the cover page for Weekly Shonen Jump. It's got like Yuji and Sukuna just facing off against each other, and Sukuna's got his curse tool while Yuji also has his curse tool. It's kind of interesting that was revealed in the last chapter. That was like a curse tool, Yuji's gauntlets. So, but it kind of makes sense because they have that little bandage, so that maybe that was there to like hold it together for him. But as we know in the last chapter, just a little recap. Yuji and Megumi were talking like their inner world, and Megumi was telling him that he doesn't want to live anymore, and Yuji's telling him he understands, so he's not gonna like force him to like live. And so, but then Megumi came back and fought back, and that shows that Yuji that he's actually wanting to like live. Probably because somebody actually spoke to him, didn't try to like rush him into things. Yeah, and then near the end, when Sukuna finally got his technique back and started using Dismantle on Yuji, it ripped the gauntlets, which turned out to be a curse tool, from Yuji's arm, and it revealed that Yuji is missing 2 fingers. And then the last page was Sukuna's last, the 20th finger, being suspended by like some strings in the middle of like a staircase, which like a bunch of theories come back, and like also is a possible way for a certain character who thought had been died come back, because it's the only reason why the finger would be like shown up there. You also got like a nice little color page with the main not the main cast, but the main team, like Gojo, Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara. They're all like, it's like kind of like a mugshot, and they got like dogs on it above them on top of their heads, and like I guess it's like dogs that's more closely like close to like their personality. Like I can see like Yuji having a pit bull, and I think that's a Shiba dog that Megumi has, and like that's like cutesy dog for like Nobara, because I can see that for her. But and apparently, Yuta is going to be on the cover of Volume 28 for Jujutsu Kaisen as well. So let's first start off with that the chapter begins with Yuta and Gojo while they are doing the body swap training. Both of them are discussing, and Yuta asks him to give him the final finger so that Rika can eat it and copy Sukuna's shrine curse technique. But Gojo denies this request. Gojo says that even though the final finger can fulfill Yuta's copy curse technique requirement, it's still not enough to analyze Shrine's curse technique info, because like you have to like speak to Sukuna. Yuta agrees to it. Even with the curse speech, he still needed Inumaki's input on how to use it, and there was a panel where like Inumaki said that it even works through like a phone, so a little like flashback to where like Inumaki threw the phone and used the pause on Sukuna, which is honestly like a crazy thing. Gojo then says, I don't think it's very smart to lose our connection with Sukuna, and Yuta seems puzzled by this. Gojo's like, it's a gamble if I say like Hikari, it's the heat, or there's like this feeling that he has. Yuta says the requirement to copy, and then this is like a then it like transitions to like the next page with like Yuta and Yuji and Meme and Uyui. They're all there, but Yui's sleeping, so he's not really a part of the conversation. Yuta says the requirement to copy a curse technique is to make Rika consume a part of the subject's body. The quantity of or what part of the body that needs to be consumed depends on the subject he's copying from and the number of times he uses it. You can think of it as a copy to copy a strong curse technique, I need to take in a part of the Jujutsu sorcerer's body that is pretty fatal to them. But even if it's a fatal part of the body, I can fulfill the technique requirement by using a binding vow to limit the use. Once Yuta continues to say that when the subject regenerates the body. Oh yeah. Sorry, I skipped the part here. So basically, Yuji's just like, well, what happens if, like, the subject like regenerates, the curse technique? You could copy Gojo's curse technique, the Limitless, and use it. And then Yuta reiterates that if a subject regenerates the body with reverse curse technique, which Rika 8, then that from point on, the body part which Rika 8 will become useless, and he can't fulfill the copy technique that he has. Yuta reveals that he was able to get Inumaki's and Hana's arms because it was determined they couldn't heal their arms anymore using reverse cut technique or modern science. And then Charles, who, if you don't remember from the Culling games, who's like the manga artist, he also took like the ribs, and then Hikari promised to heal Charles' ribs later. But May asks if Yuta is informed about Yuji's and Sukuna's resonance from Todo, which basically, if you don't know, that means that it's a possible that Sukuna, the information they tell Yuji might leak to Sukuna, so they have to be careful. Yuji said he knows about it, and that's why they are going to execute this plan right before this, so they fight Sukuna. So they did it right before, like right after Gojo died, and they'll inform Yuji only bare minimum. Even though you can't use it now, your body is already engraved with Sukuna's curse technique. There's no doubt about it, since Gojo Sensei's already confirmed it with his 6 eyes. And so now we get back to the present. Sukuna notices that Yuji is missing one more finger than the one he tore off to transfer himself to Megami, and then he realizes that Yuta bluffed him. He realized that Yuta used Yuji's finger to copy shrine technique. And another scene transition to where back to the stairs where the finger is at. Yutahime and Gakuganji are present in the place where Sukuna's final finger is sealed. Gakuganji asks if Sukuna's finger, a special grade cursed object which can withstand any physical or Jujutsu technique, can be penetrated by that technique. Yutahime says through a binding vow where by removing the object and or of destroying the cursed object and focus slowly on applying the technique's effect, maybe she can pull it off. But Yutahime is concerned that it's only been a short time since she woke up. And then cut to Nobara saying rejoice boys. So Nobara is back. I'm super happy. I've seen and then Nobara used resonance on Sukuna's final finger. The next page is Sukuna whole body convulses as he's hit by Nobara's resonance. So you see like a whole bunch of spikes coming out from his body. Sukuna is freaking out, realizes it's Nobara. He says like, this is that woman's, this is bad, my curse technique, I can't open my domain. At this rate, this kid's sure hit effect will. And then the next page, Yuji's in tears, realizing that Nobara is still alive, which is so great. I'm so happy for that. And we'll see Nobara addressing Yuji as she says, how's that for Opai for you, you idiot? And if you don't know, that's a callback to when everybody thought he was dead, and that's what he said, Opai, when he came out of surprise everybody. So it's a nice little callback, nice little troll. Yuji doesn't give Sukuna time to recover and instantly hits him with his soul dismantle. Yuji's knees Sukuna right on his face and punches him hard, which makes Sukuna throw up. But Sukuna hasn't given up yet as he punches back on Yuji. Did you really think you could peel me off with your makeshift domain? Sukuna thinks Yuji has surpassed his limits for a while as he has not healed his injuries with reverse curse technique. And since domain consumes a lot of curse energy, it's over for Yuji. Sukuna is confused as Yuji hits him with his special delayed second impact punch, which is like one of his basic attacks, which is pretty cool. He haven't seen that in a while. Yuji locks in, and with the cold face he says, let's put an end to this ever cycling curse, Sukuna. And Yuji hits Sukuna with a fucking black flash. This is the ring, the final gong to a long battle. There's no break next week. This is like a super amazing chapter. A lot of reveals here. For the biggest one is that Nobara is back, and the Gege had us in the not the last chapter but the chapter before, where Yuji was like basically telling Sukuna like everything, and Nobara was one of the people that had passed away. But then after the last chapter, we saw like the finger. It could just be because, no, since like Yuji having resonance with Sukuna, nobody could really tell him that she's still like alive, and like only at the bare minimum. And I know from Gege that Yuji is supposed to be the avatar for us, the readers. So like everything he's being told, we are being told, and the reactions we're supposed to have, he's supposed to have, or he has, and we supposed to have. And I'm feeling the reaction he's having. I'm so happy that Nobara's back. She's got a nice little cover page. Like this cover page, not the cover page, but the color, it's like a color cover art. It's not like the Wiki Show and Jump, but like for the color page for the excuse me, for the the chapter itself. It just has Nobara there, and that pretty much confirms it that no, this is going to be the ending where like 3 people live and then 1 person dies, and the 1 person being like Gojo, which makes sense. But a lot of reveals. We get to learn in-depth information about how Yuta's curse technique works. That like it requires like a certain amount of a person's body, and and then like you can't use reverse curse technique to like get around it, because like it wouldn't work, which makes sense if that body part would lose its value. See like Yuta the goat planning, and which looks like it's like Gojo's idea, where like they use like Nobara instead, which is like pretty cool. I think this is a really good idea. It's interesting to see that I think Charles Bernard is his name, excuse me, Yuta copied his technique. So I gotta reread Shinjuku to see like how that works. I don't remember him using that technique, so we'll definitely see. I definitely have to do a reread of Shinjuku. Now this is like the final chapter to see like how it was. Obviously there was concerns about Yuji and Sukuna's resonance for like leaking information, so they did it like right before. But yeah, now like so like in the manga, the page where like he realized Sukuna realized Yuta bluffed him. it's just one of like those troll moments, I feel like, that Yuta was being. But yeah, so great. She's back, and I'm so happy. And like Yuji was probably feeling like so alone, but then his friends are coming back, Megumi fighting back with his 10 Shadows technique, causing problems for Sukuna, and then Nobara coming back, to like hit that final resonance. And it just reminds me of that moment in Shibuya arc when like Yuji felt alone, and then like Nobara came in to like help him, and Toto came in to help him, and they just felt super happy. But yeah, great chapter. Chapter 267, best time for Nobara to come back. A lot of characters come back. I don't care what anybody says. This is how you bring a person back. It makes total sense why. She wasn't there in like the beginning, because she was still like recovering from like her wound, which honestly like makes sense. So I'm super glad we get to see. Now they're gonna be the eye patch game, her and Yuji, because like Yuji's lost his other eye. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great day, and check out my other videos. Bye.